Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Tracy Murda with the Future Tech Podcast. Today, I'm excited to have Patrick Gray, CEO and founder of Hashchain Technology. Thank you so much for joining me today, Pat.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. I'm really excited about the opportunity to talk to you and tell your listeners more about myself and our stock and where we're going in the future.
Well, why don't we start out with, you and I were just talking a little bit before we started the call on, kind of your background, and you've been in this space a long time. So what got you started? What got you interested as one of these earlier adopters?
Yeah, so I think it's one of our company's biggest differentiators. I'm a CEO that's also a tech entrepreneur, and a lot of other CEOs in this space don't necessarily have the tech background that I have. So I went to school for computer science and development programming, and the first job I ever got out of college was a startup company. I worked 100-hour weeks, and it was in the e-discovery space. And within a few years, we sold the company to Xerox for $180 million. And that's where I really learned a lot about entrepreneurship and business. I stayed on. I became the youngest executive in Xerox history and learned a lot about corporate America. And I managed a team of about 30 developers and ran one of the most profitable division in the company's history at that point. So it was a very exciting time for me. I learned a lot. I went off and started my own company in the e-licensing space. It's called S-Cube, and we've become one of the biggest implementers in the world. So we automate the licensing and permitting process for city and state governments throughout the U.S., and it's done very well. About 6-7 years ago, I started reading and getting involved in the blockchain community and space and investing in crypto. I was buying Bitcoin very early, under $100. I bought Ripple at a third of a cent, Ethereum under $8. So I was buying a lot of these very early, and I ended up hiring an executive management team to run my company so I could give blockchain my full attention. So I started in my garage, like a lot of other tech companies, and I built GPU units to dual mine Ethereum and Decreed, and bought a few ASIC miners to mine Dash. So I started with 7 units out of Albany, New York, and I found out quickly that it's not the perfect environment. So to be an efficient mining company, you need 3 things. You need high-speed internet, low electric cost, and cool climate. Albany didn't have all those 3, so I wanted to expand, I wanted to scale, and I came up with the concept of Hashchain. I partnered with a group, High Standard Capital, out of Vancouver, and they really liked my vision, my technical know-how in the space, and we decided, let's build one of the biggest blockchain technology companies in the world. We went public in December, and we did a $30 million raise immediately after, and that's kind of where the craze was. Everyone wanted to get involved, and the last 6 months have been tough. Obviously, Bitcoin has declined 70% plus. Our stock has been hit hard as well. But, I've been through this for so long that this is just another, correction in the space. And the true believers and backers that, started with me 6-7 years ago and that are still in it today it's going to work out for all of us and the newcomers coming in today. I think that today is a great time to get involved in the space and purchase Bitcoin or purchase publicly traded stocks in the blockchain space, because we're at lows, in my opinion. I think over the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to see a lot of opportunity and growth. Traditionally, the springs and summers have been down. Falls and winters are great. We have some good news potentially coming out in end of September with an ETF approval. And, if you read like I do daily, the CEO of Coinbase just said that they're still getting 50,000 signups per day. Now, 5 years ago, it was 500 users a day. 2.5 years ago, it was 5,000. Now it's 50,000 users a day signing up. So if you can't tell me that people are still very interested in this space, those are the numbers to prove it. So I'm as excited as I've ever been, and I'm really excited about the future of the company, the space, and my entire team here.
So tell me about what it was about Dash that you decided to focus on.
Yeah, so we started focusing on Dash. The majority of our mining right now is currently Bitcoin. We're going to start diversifying into Bitcoin Cash and also some GPU machines that can mine Ethereum, Zcash, Monero, and so on. So we're looking to diversify as we grow the company, but currently we have about 12,000 rigs up and running, and it's a really exciting time. Why I originally like Dash, to answer your question, I just like the technology behind it. Before I invest, I've been very successful investing in cryptocurrencies over the last few years, and it's because I look at the team and I look at the technology and I do my due diligence before investing. And Dash just has a really strong team behind it, and it's got functionality like instant send, the whole master node concept, which I love. Hashchain actually owns two master nodes, so I believe in the long run of Dash. I think it'll be here for the long run. There's over 3,000 coins now, and I think that 2,950 won't be around in a few years, but I think Dash will be one of the ones that are around in 10 years plus.
So tell me a little bit more about the expansion. Why do you feel you need to dive into some other cryptos?
I just think it's smart for any business. Right now, the majority of what we're mining is Bitcoin, and although I believe in Bitcoin in the future, I just think it's smart for any business to diversify. And we've only been in business a year. We've done the majority of our scaling over the last 6 months. Like I said, to go from 7 machines to 12,000, pretty much over the last 6 months. And over the next 6 months, I really want to diversify so that we can mine multiple currencies. So if one currency gets hit because of a hack or something going on in the industry, it doesn't crush the business as much. So I think, any business that's only mining one currency, is in jeopardy. And to mitigate your risk, you might want to diversify a little.
Now, where are you guys located, your central location?
So our headquarters are in Albany, New York. We have an office in Vancouver, and then we have 3 data centers. We have one data center with machines running in Vancouver, one in Montana, and one in Buffalo.
Okay. So is there a difference between having it out of the U.S. in Canada versus having the centers in the U.S., and why those locations?
Yeah, so in general, like I said, the 3 things you want is high-speed internet, cool climate, and low electric costs. All 3 of our locations are very comparable in all-in price that we're paying. But, the advantages of North America in general is that they have those 3 factors that make mining efficient. Now, the difference between Albany, New York, and Buffalo, New York in electric is a big difference, and that's why we chose Buffalo. But yeah, you really, if you're going to be a profitable miner, you want to have all 3 of those things, and Hashchain does in all of our locations. I mean, most people don't know this, but only about 14% of the world that's mining is actually mining in the most efficient places that have all 3 of those things. So, 86% of the world that's mining these cryptocurrencies might be mining in hot climate or paying too much for electric, or their internet might go out here and there. So we're fortunate enough to be mining in North America, which is one of the best places to mine. Other places around the world, Russia, Sweden, Iceland, are some other locations that are also very efficient and profitable.
So you guys have a relationship where required Node 40. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was coincidence, but Node 40 is a company that's based out of Albany, New York, and we didn't really know about each other until
I didn't know they were.
They're located in the same location. They're run and founded by 2 guys, Sean Ryan and Perry Wooden, 2 really smart guys that identified that this space, there was a lot of opportunity a few years back. And they started as a master node hosting company, and they went to do their taxes at the end of the year for their business, and their accountant couldn't really help them. So they went back and wrote their own software in-house to help them with their taxes, and a light bulb went off. They said, hey, everyone running a business in the space is going to need this. So they came up with a cryptocurrency accounting software to run parallel with the master node hosting service, and they've been doing great. So we acquired them a few months back, we're actually doing a spin-off into their own company, but the company is going to be working very close with one another. Management team will be very close, and I think that both companies, the mining and also the blockchain tech company, are going to be very successful over the next few years.
Awesome. So what other big news or changes are coming for you in the next few years?
Yeah, so right now, like I said, it's been a tough 6 months for everyone in this industry, but the people that, right now you got to, as a business, you need to run lean. You got to, keep money in the bank. I want to hold as much crypto always as possible because I believe in the future of this, and I believe that, crypto in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years is going to be worth a lot more than it is today. So we've always, we're always holding as much as we can and only selling enough to run operations. And, we're in a very good position right now where we're still making money and still growing every day. I think over the next 6 months, like I said, we want to scale. We want to continue acquiring companies, growing our machines. Right now we have 17.5 megawatts, about a little over 150 petahash. We're going to look to grow to that over the next 3 to 6 months. We're going to also look to diversify what we're mining. And being a tech guy, I'm very interested in AI and IoT and incorporating technologies like that into the blockchain as well.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I hope you can tell from my voice. I love this space. I love my job. And, I think the true believers and the guys that stick this out, are going to be, look back in 10, 20 years as visionaries in the space. And there was a lot of people before me, so I don't consider myself one, but, a lot of smart guys that I follow daily and read. I try to read 20, 30 articles every single day not because I have to, because I love to. And I love learning about, these new visionaries out there that are doing this new innovative stuff with this amazing technology. And I can't wait to see what happens over the next few years and be a part of it. It's a weird sector because in e-licensing and e-discovery is very competitive in my previous companies. And, companies didn't really talk a lot that were competitors, but in this space it's been great. I know all of our competition, the guys from Hive, Hut 8, Dash, Riot, and they're really great guys, and we all believe in the same thing. And I'd rather, work together and complement each other and, as we move forward, because at the end of the day, if they're successful, I'm going to be successful and vice versa. So I wish them the best luck, and I hope they do the same to me. So it's a really cool space where, people get along and support each other. And I hope that continues as the industry grows.
Well, that is true. I mean, it is like a little community or a little family that, we're all in here. What do you recommend, I guess, as far as, for people who are either uncertain or feeling a little shaky, feeling a little nervous, want to pull out all of their investments that they've done in crypto? Is there anything as far as education, seminars, conferences that you recommend, or just general, education and knowledge?
I think, I know a lot about the space because I've gone to conferences for the last 6 years. And when I was going to conferences in New York City, there was 30 people attending. Now you go to them and there's 15,000. So it's really exposing yourself and educating yourself as much as possible. Read as much as you can on the space. I mean, I took seminars on becoming, a blockchain expert. And so I've gone through courses. I read every day. I go to all the the events, anything blockchain related, I'm there. And so my suggestion would be go out, do that, read as much as you possibly can, and, stick it out. If you truly believe, it's the old, saying, don't sell when it's low. Right now we're going through a tough time. Hold on. And, we're going to recover like we have the last 6 times. There's been like small bubbles and correction, and we're all going to be fine. So stick it out is my advice.
Okay. Well, I sure appreciate all of your time and your insider knowledge. It's really, it's such a scary time, but at the same time, a hopeful time as well. I mean, we've all, like you said, you've been around long enough to kind of see this trends go up and down. As far as getting involved with Hashchain technology, what are some ways that people can reach out? What are some ways to get connected?
Yeah, it's weird. So I talk to investors daily. They reach out to me, and my information is public, and I love to talk to investors. I can talk about this industry and our stock for hours. So I love talking to people about it. But we're traded right now on the TSXV, the Toronto Stock Exchange, under the symbol CASH, KASH. We're also traded on the OTC in the States under the symbol HSSHF, and that's what I usually tell people. Do some research, do some due diligence, look on our website, read our blog, look at our deck, and do some comparables. I won't list names, but if you look at where we are right now, we're one of the cheapest options to buy as a miner in the public space. So if you compare megawatts and market cap and petahash and machines of all our competition in the space, our market cap should be way higher than it is today, just based on comparables. So just do your research as an investor, see what's the best company to invest in, look at the team, look at what they've done in the past, and invest wisely. But again, like you were talking about before, 3 years ago, the entire market cap of this space of cryptocurrency was about $5 billion. We're at $200 billion today. 6 months ago, we were at $800 billion. And I truly believe in the next year or two, we're going to be at a $2 to $3 trillion market cap, which is 10x what it is today. And, that could be conservative in the long term.
Well, thank you, Pat, so much for your time today. And I know our listeners are really going to enjoy the info and insider knowledge, like I said, that you have. If there's anything else that people need to reach out and find you again, why don't you go ahead and give us the website again and then just a general contact info once again.
Yeah, it's just hashchain.ca. And, you can reach out to me at pat@hashchain.ca. I love, talking to investors or just people that are enthusiasts in this space. But, again, I've done this. I've built successful tech companies, and, I'm a competitive guy, and Hashchain Technology, is going to be a name you hear about for years to come. I want to be one of the biggest miners in the public space. We're competing with the top, 3 or 4 right now to be exactly that, and we're going to continue to grow as the industry grows. So there's a lot of opportunity. I think we're at a great price point to get in right now, and I think you should seriously consider, buying our stock and participating in the company.
Awesome. Again, for our listeners, this was an interview with Patrick Gray, CEO and founder of Hashchain Technology. Thank you so much again, Pat. Congratulations on your success so far, and good luck to the future ventures here.
I appreciate your time.
Have a good one, Pat.
You too.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.